We love death here. Okay.
Well, it is Florida.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Machtails from the Cantina, live, the impromptu baseball postseason edition of this show. What were we doing the last couple days? We were saying, "Let's go Rays! Let's go Rays!" Who doesn't like a cowbell? And I got a fever, and I got the prescription right here in my hand. So we are wrapping up. It's a little bit of a sad night because we lost to Boston yesterday. We didn't lose to Boston yesterday. We kind of got our butts handed to us yesterday. And I got a lot of great guests on the show tonight, as always. But, Danny, how many times have you been to the Trop?
Well, I've been to the Trop 11 times.
11 times. We made history last night. We were on the wrong side of history last night. What happened for the first time?
Well, the first time that happened to me, maybe my parents have seen it, but the Red Sox had won the game. Rays lost.
Yeah, and you've never what?
I've never seen that.
She's never seen the Rays lose. She's never seen the Rays lose. I have a lot of people in the Rays chat, the Facebook thread that I'm in, and they're like, hey, I hope your daughter likes to travel. Keep bringing her to the games. But you know what? Not even Danny's magic could win us the game yesterday.
I'm not magic.
You are magic. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So, hey, I have a lot of guests that I want to get to on the show. There's a lot going on in just a short period of time. This is episode number 3. And before I bring on the guests, Danny, you want to say those famous words that all us baseball fans love to hear.
Let's play ball.
Let's play ball. Thank you so much for being on the show. All right, we got a plane to catch in the morning. All right, I want to bring on Boston Dan first and foremost. Let's see. Now, I don't have Tyler tonight, so I'm bringing everybody on at once right now. I am bringing everybody on I'm bringing everybody on at the same time because Tyler is the guy that controls the whole technical element of Mocktails from the Cantina. And without him, he goes, yeah, I'm sure the show will be smooth. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know because he serves a purpose. But Dan, you are a little happier tonight than
I know.
you were 2 nights ago, right?
Oof, yeah. So much better right now. Our bats woke up, and I'm happy for that. And then we were able to overcome that big bump that we had in the first inning where Sales just didn't have his stuff, and we had our backup guys who were able to fill in those big shoes, especially during important games like this. That can really affect how the series is going to go during the rest of the time that we're playing together.
Dan, this is so, it's funny. I am the nut that brings my family down here on vacation just for Rays baseball. And, I was so amped up to come down here for the last 4 weeks maybe. And game 1 was incredible because we blasted you guys out of the water 5-0. It was a shutout. I woke up the next morning and you guys were like, no, I can't do a morning show. I was all ready to do it with coffee. I was so amped up. But then after last night's game, Oof. That's a thing. And there's a lot of people on the show tonight that are in a similar situation, especially White Sox fans, that this game is so fast and furious in the first round of the playoffs. And we're so emotionally attached and we're so fired up that once things like this start taking a turn, in our situation, we're 1-1, right?
Right.
So we're both equally nervous. I was nervous as soon as you guys beat the Yankees the way you guys did for the wild card game. I was nervous. Last night, I was disappointed. I walked out of there deflated, and I'm like, I felt bad because I left in the 9th inning after the first out, and I never leave early.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't leave,
It's like
how do you feel moving forward, man? How do you feel moving forward? You guys,
I feel good. I feel a lot better. continuing on into the series. You know, we're going into Boston now, so it's our turf. So obviously we have the crowd, the energy on our side this time around. And you know, I have a feeling it's going to be tough, especially with the momentum that the Red Sox are carrying into Boston. I feel that it's going to be really difficult for the Rays to meet that, you know, while you guys are in our territory right now. So,
You know what? I do feel like the Rays play well on the road. They have a better record at home. Yes, a lot of people ask me, especially my mom. And now you guys know, some of you guys know that I do not talk to my mom. But when it comes to this kind of scenario, my mom knows I'm down in Florida. My mom knows that I didn't reach out to her. She knows I'm at the game and she wants to connect. She goes, how were those Red Sox fans? Because she has always sworn that she would never go to a series at the Trop because there's a lot of fans from all over the place that love the away teams. Now, the good thing is, on Thursday, I saw few and far between Red Sox fans. It was quiet. There was nothing to cheer about. But last night, dude, they were loud and they got louder and they got louder.
Yes, they did.
Now
Yep.
I do want to share something with you. I am a t-shirt guy. And I have like 500 t-shirts at least. My wife's like, don't buy any more t-shirts. And I always have a t-shirt for an occasion.
Right.
I wore this shirt.
Oh, I'm very familiar with that shirt.
I wore this shirt on Thursday. And last night, I wore it. And I got people coming up to me left and right. Oh, my God, that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt? I love that shirt. And then I wore this one yesterday. And a lot of people like the front, but a lot of people love the back of it.
Don't approve. That's like an offensive word right there.
It's more offensive than the first shirt.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
You know, so I am, and you know, no, to answer your question, I know Michael asked me. We're going to say goodbye to Michael tonight, unfortunately, because he represents the Cardinals, and the Cardinals just could not survive the ninth inning of the wild card game. But Michael said, "Hey, are you going to Boston?" And I said, "You know what? No." My daughter asked me the same thing. Are we going to Boston, Daddy? I'm like, no.
Yeah, we'll get you up here. We'll get you up here.
You know,
if it's not this series, man, like definitely next year when the news, you know, when the new one comes up, you know, and some other team is the World Series champion that you guys are still trying to go for. I absolutely believe it.
Yeah, I will say
you can come up and we can hang out together. Absolutely.
Yes, I need to go there with you, and I need to report to that I did not get any physical confrontations last night. Actually, I will admit, when we were leaving, I saw Rays couples fighting amongst each other.
that's what happens when people lose. They get ugly and they start attacking each other.
Yes.
You know.
And you know what? I'm going to talk to my guest tonight because some of us are happy, like you, Dan. Some of us are sad, like Gunnar filling in for Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched the game last night that I want to get into. Dan, I will talk to you soon. Dan, thank you so much for joining me on the show, and I'm happy to see you. And I'm kind of happy that you're happy. I told you that I can't. I feel bad when you come on the show because I really reserve my hatred towards the Red Sox because I love you so much.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's what it's been through our thread. It's just been constant Boston hate. You know, like, and everybody's like, "I'm pulling for those Rays, man. I'm pulling for those Rays." It's like, screw you, Boston.
You weren't alone, man. But you know what? You take it like a man.
Yes,
and
do my best.
I've lost a lot of friends that were Star Wars friends. They find out, you know, they hear about my Red Sox anti-Red Sox rants, and they're like, you know what? I don't care about Star Wars anymore. I don't want to be your friend anymore.
That's I don't know. Like you can't do that. Why push someone away who has a different opinion of you? You know, like that's just kind of that's like, you know, the whole catfish idea of like, dude, there are people out there who keep you interesting, and it's like their opinions are the ones that stir you up and make you think. you can't just like live in a bubble and have everything, the way that you want it. You have to have something a little bit different, something a little bit spicy that you don't agree with, but it keeps you active and keeps you hungry. So, hey, I can't imagine me not being friends with somebody who's who's a fan of a total opposite team that I'm not a fan of. It's just, I can't think of that, man.
Well,
like that's,
that is why I appreciate you. And, last night I did notice there are a lot of Red Sox fans that were with their friends that were Rays fans. And
right.
to me, that was kind of cool to see. That was kind of cool to see that there is that. I don't. You know what's crazy? Last night at the Trop, I saw a Red Sox chick with a Yankees dude.
Oh.
And I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Well, I was thinking, like for the past 2 days, I'm like, man, with all like with your Rays, like, love and everything like that. I'm like, imagine if your daughter dated somebody who is a Red Sox fan. I can imagine you just like you drop dead like right then and there.
Yeah, she's like, I can't introduce you to my dad yet because which could be possible. I don't want to think about that, especially my daughter's, she's only 7. I don't want to think about her growing up that fast because
all I can imagine is you with a shotgun with a red, Rays like symbol on the side of it. Like, you're what?
My daughter woke up today and she goes, "Are we leaving today already?" She goes, "Daddy, you're right. Time really does go fast, And I mean, time goes fast. The postseason goes fast. I mean,
it does.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But Dan, you got a show. I want to plug your show before we say goodbye to you tonight. Your show. How do people find your podcast?
All right. So it is Dan and Ian Have Questions podcast. So what we do is we interview people who have interesting jobs or interesting collections. And we're just we basically are like the saying goes of, we are pretty much like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And we want to know more about the people who are such passionate about what they do, is that it became like part of their job or it became part of their identity. So you guys can check out that podcast. We have it pretty much on all the major, podcast distribution companies. We got it through Apple and Stitcher and, Reddit and all kinds of crazy stuff. So just go and type in Dan and Ian Have Questions, and I'm pretty sure it will pop up somewhere. So, but thank you.
How many episodes you guys got out right now?
Well, we just started, so we have 2 right now. We're going to be releasing another one on this Monday. So, guys, check it out and let us know what you think. And if you have any questions, check out our Facebook page on there. And it's the same thing. Dan and Ian Have a Podcast, and just add that like button and hey, interact. We're not shy.
Hey, it's a great name for a show, and I'm going to throw it out there for the 3rd time. I'm going to keep counting. I'm still waiting for the invite to be on your show, man.
Hey, you're doing your own thing, man. You're busy all the time. I don't know if we'll have.
But I always got time for friends. I always got.
All
time
right,
for
good,
friends,
good.
So.
That's good.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate you spending some time, and I know we are going to be talking in a couple of days. Hopefully, I will be the happy one, and you will be crying in your Boston Sam Adams beer.
I know you loving that. I know you're gonna stew on that thing like so much. It's gonna be ridiculous, man. I can't wait for those conversations.
Cool. Thanks for joining me tonight. My next guest I want to bring on is somebody from the West Coast, and their game. I should know this, but I've been busy on the road. Even Jeff from San Fran. Jeff, right. Thank you so much for joining me on the show tonight.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I am good. I know you are feeling good because I was watching that game when I was having a nightcap last night, and I saw a couple of the Giants players swearing because they were happy.
Oh, they were happy. I think it was a great first game, and I have to laugh. I had to shut off my notifications, Chris, because I was a little bit behind. And you were texting about the game, and I'm like, no. So anyway,
spoiler alert!
Thank God it all went our way. No, it was a great first game, and And I mean, I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Game 2 is starting probably right now, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we get through tonight, and then a night or more in LA.
Now, are you? I don't know if I asked you this. No, because you were not on the show last time. I know your schedule was a little bit more conflicted. You joined us for episode 1. Are you going to any of the games in San Francisco?
I'm not as of right now. I have so much going on. I'm hoping it's a possibility. I mean, I could, I get, there's opportunities, to get last minute tickets. So if I can make it happen, I will.
Okay, but before we went live, I know you said that, and I don't want to take this away from you, because I mean you're on the show tonight and you have passion for the game.
Oh yeah.
You're like, I'm not as much of a baseball freak as you are. I have a feeling that I would miss a funeral or a wedding for a baseball playoff game where you're like, hey man, my schedule's too busy.
Chris, I mean that with much love. I love your enthusiasm and your excitement, and it's palpable and fun, and it's part of you. It's an extension of you, and it's what makes you great. I'm used to interacting with you more with your Star Wars passion, which I share.
Yes, I love the T-shirts, by the way. I know you wore the one on episode 1. It was a Star Wars Giants shirt.
So,
and I got to tell you, so I've been to 35 different ballparks. I only have Fenway and Miami to hit. San Francisco I still call it AT&T Park. I know it's called Oracle Park now. But that was my favorite park until I went to PNC in Pittsburgh, simply because I think the Giants ballpark, it's cold there in June. I remember I was there for a Cubs-Giants game when I was filming The Force Within Us, and I was drinking Irish coffee at a ball game in June.
That's great, and that's very San Francisco. So,
and I had my Yoda backpack on, and I heard this smirky comment from a Giants fan going, well, what does Star Wars have to do with baseball? And I'm thinking, dude, do you know where we are? We're in San Francisco. We are down the street from Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, we have, as many ballparks do, we have Star Wars days every year. This was the first year I didn't make it. Here's my Randy Martinez hand-painted Giants baseball from probably a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah, I got that one, too. I got that. Yeah, if you don't mind, can we see it? Oh,
I had him make it after the droid that I built at Galaxy's Edge, which is orange and black.
Wait, is that ball? Was that a stadium giveaway, or did you commission him to make that?
I commissioned Randy to paint it.
That is amazing. You commissioned him.
Yeah, well,
That's good, because I don't know if you knew this, but I shared this on Inside the Wampa Cave segment just recently. Randy Martinez did a San Francisco Giants ball with Mad Bum as a Jedi on the ball, and it was one of those special tickets where you had to buy the ticket that came with the souvenir.
Right. You got to get the VIP ticket.
Yes.
I've done that before, where Randy has like a little table and he's selling his stuff, and he was soliciting commission. So I sent him a picture of my droid and picked it up at the game.
That is so cool. So that's a one-of-a-kind piece?
Yeah.
That is awesome. I got to commission him to make a Machtails from the Cantina baseball.
Oh, he'll totally do that. Let's make that happen.
It's good for sure. Well, Hey, man, I know Game 2 is starting. I know you're excited. Because Wistock's not on the show, even if he was on the show, I know a lot of people say, even though we lost to the Red Sox last night, that it's going to be a Rays-Dodgers World Series rematch. I personally feel like it's going to be the Giants and the Rays. I don't know. Maybe that's what my heart wants to see.
That's what my heart wants to see.
I think that would be just a great, great matchup. You got the two Bay Area teams. And as a Cubs fan too, Chris Bryant playing with Evan Longoria, that's like a dream team of mine.
I know. And last night was a good night for both of them. I mean, last night our veteran players really came out, and it was a great way to start. And I'm sorry Wistock's not here either, but the Dodgers.
I don't think you'd be able to handle the heartbreak. You wouldn't be able to handle the heartbreak. You wouldn't be able to, because I would talk more shit about the Dodgers if he was on the show.
They were asleep last night, even with their star pitcher. So we'll see.
It's the crazy thing about the playoffs is when you're up, if you can get up to 2-0, unlike God, yeah. I'm very disappointed with the White Sox. But my next guest that I'm going to bring on, Jeff, thank you for your support and for joining me. I'm going to see you throughout the entire postseason for sure.
Soon. Thanks, man.
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Thank you again.
Take care.
Thank you again. John Zancanaro, you guys are like in my situation, like Boston Man's situation. You guys lost tonight, but you won the night before. I know you said it was a little nerve-wracking because it was a one-run game. How are you feeling as a fan right now? Are you feeling satisfied and content, or are you feeling a little aggravated?
I'm more nervous. I'll be honest.
We're all nervous tonight.
Yes. No, yeah. I obviously would be feeling way better if we had 2 wins, but 1-1, I think it's pretty good. I'll be honest. I'm thinking that this is going to go all 5 games. It's going to be a real battle, especially because the Brewers and the Braves have some really good pitchers, and so both of those games had crazy pitching battles going on.
I think that is what has been nice for baseball fans like Andy from Miami that don't really have, what's the word I want to use? They don't have a team in the hunt. They're just a baseball fan watching it. And I've been hearing a lot about the National League has been more satisfying to watch as in, a well-rounded baseball fan, or maybe your team's not in it, because it's been that wild card game. The NL wild card game was really, really close. And Michael from Two Geeks on a Microphone is going to come on the show next and just kind of, say his farewell. But that was a close game, man. I turned the game off in the 9th inning because I was falling asleep, and it ended in the 9th inning. How do you feel going back to the Brewers and the Braves? You're nervous? What are you doing to calm the nerves, my friend?
Yeah, well, I'm a Brewer fan, so of course I got my beer.
Yeah, what? Let me zoom in on that. I want to. Yeah. This is a Bob Uecker inspired beer.
Yeah, it's called Uecker on the Radio. A local brewery up by me has there. So for those who don't know, Uecker is our Bob Uecker is our radio guy. He's been
everybody knows Bob Uecker.
Oh yeah, I know.
If you're watching this show right
now,
you know
what? That's a good point. But yeah, 50 years, it's been great. So I know he was on the radio today, so I thought but yeah, otherwise though, I mean, it was nervous watching the game right before coming on here. I'm sitting there just watching the pitch counts go by, but yeah, you just have to trust our pitchers to keep them off the bases, and then we just pull up somebody to just try to score. So multiple times we had like 2 people on base and we were almost there to tie, and sadly we just couldn't get on there. So now we're heading down to Atlanta, and I think again that's going to be split. I think we're going to take one of the games. They're going to take one of the games, and then it'll come back to Milwaukee. And then
it's probably going to go to Game 5. The Brewers are notorious for kind of ending their road during the first round. They've done it a gazillion times, even when they were at the top of the game. You know what? I got to tell you, when I was at the Trop for Game 1, John Smoltz, who Gunner is going to come on and represent the White Sox in Tyler's place. So Game 7 of the World Series, I'm in the elevator with Bill Murray during the rain delay. It's crazy. Yesterday, before the game starts, Hall of Famer, pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, John Smoltz walks right by me. And I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, that's a fucking Hall of Fame pitcher right there. He was coming out of media dining. I was on the press level, so I had like access to, all that magic there. And I just thought it was cool that he walked by me. My daughter was in my arms. My phone's in my back pocket. He's going somewhere because he was announcing the game on TV yesterday. I would have loved to taken a photo with him, and I wasn't working, so it was allowed. But I was like, I got my daughter here. My phone's in my back pocket. I don't want to slow him down. I hate rejection, But anyways, my point is that even when Smoltzy was on the Braves, they were notorious for not going the distance. And I think the Brewers have been here before, obviously, in the last small handful of years. I don't believe that they have the inexperienced players. I think they have – Hader has been in this situation before. I would love to see the Brewers beat the crap out of the Braves and make the next round. And
Yep, I would love to see Brewers and Giants game coming up in the next round. I'm getting ahead of myself on there, but yeah, it's been it's great.
Well, it's possible. It is possible.
Yeah, very very much so. So that's who I'm personally cheering for, and then I'm sorry, but I'm hoping then though if that happens somehow the White Sox pull it off, I would love to see a White Sox and Brewers World Series because, man, the traveling back between Milwaukee and Chicago, it just
that would be
too good. We don't have a rivalry with the Sox. We have a rivalry with the Cubs, so it would be different. So yeah, but yeah, so that's I'm just throwing out my predictions in there, just into the ether.
I got it. Okay, going back to Bob Uecker real quick.
Oh yeah,
yep. You know what? I love Bob Uecker. I had him on the radio today listening to the game. And Chip Carey, Harry Carey's grandson, is part of the Brewers broadcasting team. He's good, but Bob Uecker has inspired my Mocktails from the Cantina podcast because when Uecker calls the games, he's by himself. And when I do my podcast, I'm by myself, and it's hard not to think of Vin Scully. I know Vin Scully is tied to Dodgers, but Bob Uecker doing it by himself, he's an inspiration. He's an inspiration.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and I love your podcast. So yeah, so it's great to hear that. But and the cool thing is Uecker is almost like a part of the team. When we clinched, he went down, or he's always invited down into the clubhouse to celebrate with the guys. And so he's down there. He's doing like the like start. I don't even know.
Well, he's what you call a homer. He's a hometown broadcaster.
Yep. So yeah, he's part of the team. So yeah. So I don't know. It is great having. I mean, I've been spoiled my whole life. I've always been able to, if they're on the radio, I can turn it on, and Uecker's always there. So
and I want to show my baseball fandom a little bit deeper because I am a Cubs fan as well, but I don't live and die Cubby blue. When the Cubs are playing the Brewers, Pat Hughes from the Cubs has driven me to the point of insanity as a fan on the radio. That when the Cubs are playing the Brewers, I'll turn on Bob Uecker's call.
That's great to hear. You texted me one time and I was like, no way. That's awesome because I
love listening to that guy, and he's not vocal about his Cubs hate, but I just love the way that he calls games.
Very respectable,
and he's fun to listen to. So, hey, I am going to say goodbye to you, but not for a long time because you guys are in it for the hunt here.
Oh yeah.
I am going to say goodbye to my next guest. I hate saying goodbye to people. I hate it. I can't stand it. But John, we will talk to you really, really soon. My next guest, I think he might have even turned the TV off because it was late. It was a late game. The postseason had started with late games. We did not get home from the Trop on Thursday until 12:30 at night. My daughter goes to bed at 9 o'clock. And last night we got home a little bit earlier, but my daughter went to bed at 1:30. So my friend from Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing, brother? Are you sad or are you just disappointed? How you feeling, man?
I can't be too sad. I mean, like you had said in the first episode, nobody expected the Cards to be there this year. So we had an overall a good season, considering how it went. And we finished it off with a 17 game winning streak. I think our biggest winning streak in I don't know how long. Granted, we lost the last 2 games of the Cubs, but I was told actually we didn't have our starters playing because they were like, we can rest on these 2 games. So it was what it was. Let's just put it that way.
I would say it was a good ride, and the Cardinals. When I was there at the game with Tyler and my friend Rich, they had tied the record for the most consecutive wins, and the Cardinals. They're not like the Rays. They're not like a new team.
no,
they're not an expansion team. So for the Cardinals to not even be considered in the postseason, and to me, they're still like the Yankees. You never want to write them off. And of course, Yankees, Cardinals, they were both there in the postseason, in the beginning of it anyway. But this year was a great year for them, with setting the franchise record for most consecutive wins.
Right. Yeah.
And you guys lost to a team that it could go to the World Series.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't complain about losing to the Dodgers. There's no real hate towards the Dodgers. Like I said in your first episode, we've met up with the Dodgers 5 times, well now 6 times in postseason, and we've only lost to them twice. It was a little rough this time considering it was just a 1 game. I would have felt a lot better had this been, a 3-game series or something. And give us a little leeway,
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to return to that next year because last year during the pandemic everything was crazy, including the baseball schedule, because in the postseason they had the 3-game wild card.
Right.
Which I thought was great because anybody can win 1 game. You might as well go out there and whoever gets heads or tails on the call, you win the game, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. And that's the way this game went too. I mean, I watched this game like you said, I watched it up until the 9th inning. And
I thought it was going to go to the 14th inning.
Oh my gosh, I did too. I was just like, this game is going to be forever. And I'm like, man, I get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. And
yeah, sure.
I'm like, dude, I can't stay up much later, So when we got to the 9th, top of the 9th, and we stranded, I think 2 runners in the 9th, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to bed. I'll find out in the morning who won.
Right.
I'm done.
It's gonna go another hour at least. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m, right?
Right. And the first thing I did when I woke up, I looked at my phone and I went, damn.
Well, I think that's great during this time of year. It's like I just look at because there's a lot of baseball to watch. I try to watch as much as I can, try to listen to as much as I can, but it's very commanding. It's very commanding. It's very emotionally draining, especially when you got a team in the hunt right now.
Right.
You got so much emotionally invested in that, but it's like in the morning, it's like I go to the phone right away. It's like you got to find out who won, who lost, who's in a good spot, who's in a bad spot. It's one of those things. And I want to tell people again, you have a very, very fun podcast, Two Geeks in a Microphone. You can get that anywhere, right?
Yeah, you can get it on Google. Our main place is Podbean, but you can get it on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, all the major podcast carriers. You can get it. If you go to 2 geeksmike.com, that is our website. That's our portal to everything. It's got our links to our Facebook page, to our Ko-fi page. Ko-fi's kind of like Patreon, but we like it a little bit better since we have the virtual coffee table. So it kind of matches us a little bit, matches our personality a bit. And and then you can go to our YouTube page too and check us out there.
So make sure you guys check him out. He's been supporting Machtails from the Cantina for a long, long time. definitely give your show a listen. I've enjoyed it. I've been on it before.
Yes.
It's very, very fun. It's very, very fresh and very, very new. So, hey, man, thank you so much for spending your time joining us on this, I want to say, impromptu postseason baseball edition.
Well, thank you for having me.
You know, you know what? I'm glad you were able to represent. I love your personality. You're a true professional, and it was fun having you part of it. I'm gonna miss you moving on, but you know, that's the rule. Your team gets eliminated. We will see you next time.
I understand. There'll be next year.
There will be next time. Now you sound like a Cubs fan.
Oh, don't do that.
Don't do that. All right, Michael. Thank you again. Thank you again. Hey, speaking about Cubs hate, which I have zero Cubs hate for, my next friend is representing Tyler Page. He's been on Machtails from the Cantina before. He is a diehard White Sox fan. I went to opening day with him, which was his birthday this year, which was really, really cool to actually attend opening day in the flesh in 2021. There was nothing like it. My friend, Gunnar Malmstrom. Gunnar, drinking a Sox beer. You know what? Are you drinking? Are you drowning in your sorrows? Because I feel so, my heart is heavy.
It's
for
rough.
Sox Nation.
It is rough. And you know what? It's weird because when the season started, if you asked me, oh, what do you think? I'd say, you know what? The White Sox could win the World Series. It would not surprise me. And they could get swept in 3 games. It wouldn't surprise me. It's this team. They just go through such highs and such lows. It's just, which White Sox are you going to get?
But
And
is it though the White Sox having a low, or is it that the Chistros are just that good? Because those guys, if anybody's got anything to prove this year, it's them.
yeah, I mean, that is true. We don't match up very well against them. They beat us. They swept us in Houston, and they beat us, I think, 2 out of 3 in Chicago, maybe. But man, we just don't match up. And our ace, Lance Lynn, is notoriously gotten destroyed by Houston in his career. He throws predominantly fastballs, and they hit the heck out of fastballs. So, I mean, Tony La Russa is in the Hall of Fame. I'm not one to second guess, but why you would give the one pitcher that's going to get 2 starts in the first and last game, the guy that gets rocked by Houston, I don't know. It just makes me sit a little uneasy.
You know, that's a good point, because he is your number one guy. And is he not your number one guy?
No, I mean, you can argue Carlos Rodon when he stays healthy. I would have started Giolito first, but I'm a little biased. I love Giolito.
You think Tony was giving the ball to him for game 1 because it was more of a respect?
Well, no, I mean, he earned it. If you look at the overall stats and you take Rodon's health into effect, you don't know if you're getting Rodon. Lance Lynn deserved the start, but are you giving someone something they deserve, or are you playing the matchup the best way you can? Because there's a thing, if Giolito starts game 1 and then you got Lynn 2, worst case scenario, Lynn now starts game 1 of the ALCS, which, you know, that kind of puts you in a better situation there. Again, Tony La Russa is in the Hall of Fame. I sit there on my couch drinking Goose Island White Sox beer. So,
well, I think that's the thing about the game, and that's the thing about us as fans, right? We're all the armchair quarterbacks to a certain point, but we don't want to. You know, it's like whatever the Rays do. Even when Kevin Cash pulled Blake Snell out last year, when Blake Snell was on fire, Game 5 in the World Series, I'm like, I can't question this guy. He's fucking manager of the year. You can't question the manager of the year. He won't ever make the same mistake twice. But I think the same thing, it's hard. We are so heavily invested into this as fans. I mean, I tell you right now, if Boston Dan's team did not beat the Rays last night, I don't even know if, I was going to say, I don't know if Boston Dan would show up on the show tonight. He would. He would, but I think that's the thing about the postseason. As you know, you guys are down, you know, 2 games. There's 3 more to play, and it happened in 2 games like that. It happens so fast. It's like, where the hell does the time go? Now, you as a fan, as a White Sox fan, how do you feel? Right now, you got to sweep the fucking Astros to win it all. Are you still standing by your team? And do you still?
Absolutely. I live and die by them. I have for years. This year's been different for me because my friendship with Tyler. I mean, me and Tyler have been to so many games together. Tyler and I have been to so many games together. You and I, we went to opening day thanks to Tyler's tickets. So because of that, I've been to a bunch, and it made a fandom which was already huge. It made it that much bigger. And I missed it's up to the last couple weeks. I didn't miss a game all year. Now, I maybe didn't watch the whole game, but I at least watched part of almost every game this season, which is hard, as you know. 162 games is a lot to keep up with. So yeah, it's been a great season. It's not over yet. Hey, the Red Sox were down 3-0 against the Yankees, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah,
there's no one that the world of baseball is rooting against more than Houston, I feel. So
I remember John Zancanaro, who was on the show earlier tonight. He had said, he's like, because I feel like I'm a White Sox fan in a can, an instant White Sox fan in a can right now, because I'm like, man, I really, really want to see the White Sox beat the Astros. And John
is taking you in. We've accepted you as one of our own.
And John made a good point. He goes, it's rooting against and not to take away that I want the White Sox to win. I don't want to take away from that. But John's point was the Cheatstros could be playing the Toledo Mud Hens, and you would still root for the Toledo Mud Hens because whoever's playing the Cheatstros, you want them to win. If the Red Sox are playing the Houston Astros, I'm going to be a Red Sox fan for 3 hours.
I won't tell anyone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Boston Dan's in the green room getting a good chunk a lot of that. But the thing is, this game is so humble, and it's humble to the players. It's humble to fans. And, we feel so on fire with our teams. We are so invested in our teams. And I think this is a good topic to bring on tonight, because we are in the point where the White Sox need a sweep. Whoever wins the game tomorrow in Fenway, the other team's got to win 2 more. It's a little early for the Brewers right now because that series is tied. Giants are 1, but we are at a crossroads where it's like it's getting late, and that's why I don't follow anything after baseball, because it's so emotionally draining. Like,
absolutely,
do I really want to invest in a fucking football series after baseball?
I don't know how people that are obsessed with like WWF wrestling do it. There's no break. There's no break for the whole year. How do you? And there's like 9 hours of wrestling a week. I don't know how my friends do it.
And Gunnar, I know now you were still planning on going to the ALCS. Are you going to the ALDS?
Any of the games?
Yes, because that's
I do have a friend that said possibly, but I don't think so. I don't know. I might. I don't have tickets in my hand now. I got a couple connections that.
Right now, because you guys need to win tomorrow, I don't think there would be anything more intense than being on the South Side tomorrow.
Absolutely.
When you guys need to win, and when you win tomorrow, it's going to be like, holy crap, I'm glad that I bought this ticket.
You know what? The day before the ALDS, I just, on a whim, I went on StubHub, and there were tickets upper deck, but right behind home plate, which are some of the best seats in the house. If you just want pure vantage point of the field, I think those are some of the best seats in Houston. $23. $23. And then yesterday's game, they were like $48. I texted Tyler. I'm like, why did we not Chris mocked it and just fly out to Houston for under $100? We can see 2 games.
Well, I think tomorrow, because tomorrow's a do or die, I strongly, in my experience, I strongly believe that if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, you will be able to get over there last minute for a relatively reasonable price because of the scenario. But man, I was nobody wants to see the Astros win, and I want to see the Rays play the White Sox on the South Side.
We've got bets involved.
We got bets involved.
Which, but I loved your John Smoltz story, by the way.
I figured you would love that. Yeah, because
I have a John Smoltz story as well. I don't know if you want to tell it. It involved you and me in the state of Iowa. So I don't know if you want to go into this.
You know what? Yes, I do want to get into this because when I saw Smoltzy by the elevator yesterday, I'm like, I know me and Gunnar have a connection to him, but it didn't necessarily cross my mind right then and there because, one, you're not expecting him to just walk right in front of you. I was not expecting to see him at the Trop yesterday. And two, I'm excited about the game, right? So my mind is just frantically all over the place. But yes, Gunnar, please share the Field of Dreams, John Smoltz, Gunnar story.
First off, Chris Mocked is forever in my heart because him and I got to work the Field of Dreams game for MLB Network, which was awesome. One of the best experiences of my life. And you were essentially the golf cart guy. You were driving celebrities all over the field in a golf cart. I was doing production running, which meant I would be at the stage and they'd be like, we need this. And I would literally sprint 3/4 of a mile back to our trailer to get a pen or whatever they need and run back. So at one point, we're in the middle of recording. What's the name of the show, Kevin Millar, that we were doing?
Oh, wait, intentional talk.
Intentional talk.
Kevin Millar,
MLB Network. So I don't watch it.
Cool fucking guy.
It was awesome. And so at first we're setting up and they're like, yeah, we only need 2 chairs. Tomorrow we're going to need a third one because we're having Kevin Costner on. So, but right now we only need 2. So we're actually recording segments. Like A-Rod is on stage, all this stuff. I'm sitting there like 5 feet from him. This is amazing. And all of a sudden they go, John Smoltz is coming.
Something tells me Boston Dan doesn't think there's anything amazing about being that close to A-Rod.
But Poppy was there too. Big Poppy.
Poppy was there. Big Poppy.
Uniform.
Big Poppy and A-Rod together living in harmony. It's like, okay, this is kind of crazy.
But they go to me and they say, change of plans. John Smoltz is coming on the show. We need that second chair in like 10 minutes. So I'm like, we got a second chair in the trailer, like a brand new one. So I literally sprint all the way down to the trailer and I say, where's that chair? And you're like, it's not built yet. I'm like, well, we need it. She's like, I'll build it and I'll drive it down there. So I sprint back to the stage. I'm like, it'll be here in like 5 minutes. And you build the chair and you drive it over in the golf cart. And I run and literally put it on the stage as he sits down and we record the segment. And I'm out of breath and I'm standing behind the stage and my phone rings and it's you. And I send it to voicemail because we're recording. And you call back again. I'm like, I can't talk. We're recording. And you say, there might be a problem with the chair. I don't know. It was missing a piece or something. Like, there might be a problem with the chair. I'm like, John Smoltz is sitting on the chair. I'm like, I can promise you one thing. If John Smoltz's chair breaks and he falls off the stage, I won't tell anyone it was you that built the chair. So, and he didn't. The chair was fine. You saved the day, Chris. We almost.
But it's funny because people go, "Well, what do you do? What do you do for MLB during the film?" I'm like, "Well, I made sure that Kevin Millar went from point A to point B, and I built the fucking chair that John Smoltz said, and that's what I do."
Oh man, and I don't think I put on that many miles in my life running back and forth. You had the golf cart. I just had to run back and forth and back.
You would have been the guy in the golf cart, but I got to tell you, because we're a couple beers into it, we're at the end of the show. I got to tell you, that was my boss goes, "Yeah, is there anybody that you can share a room with?" And I'm like, yeah, there's this guy Gunner that is a friend of mine. He likes the White Sox. I'll get him out to the Field of Dreams game. And then you were telling me, you're like, oh yeah, Stephanie, our boss, she's gonna want me to deal with talent. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're the fucking new guy. I'm like, I deal with the talent. So I kind of like, in a very cool, non-invasive way, I kind of put myself in a situation to be the main talent guy. And then the funny thing is, my boss, Stephanie, our boss, she goes, hey, you know what Kevin Millar looks like? And like, I just have this smirk on my face because I'm like, of course I do. I've been watching Intentional Talk since its inception. And just, again, that is why my hate towards the Red Sox had softened a little bit because of working with Kevin Millar. I mean, that guy was on the World Series.
Honestly, if they said which job do you want, yours or mine, I would take mine 100 times. I just had so much fun. I love being part of the. I mean, I'm used to being in production stuff, mostly in radio, but I mean, I've done a couple video shoots and stuff, and that's what I love. I love being part of it. I love just sitting there. I love just kind of watching backstage. And my favorite part, you talk about Kevin Millar. This is going to be the dumbest thing because I saw so many people at that Field of Dreams game. Twice I heard the sound of a golf cart. I stepped to the side and I'm like, Frank Thomas just drove past me. I saw Jerry Reinsdorf and his grandkids getting out of a SUV. I mean, I walked past Kevin Costner and Doug Manfred, like all these people, Poppy, Kevin, all these people. I bumped into Daryl Boston on the field, like all this crazy stuff. And the highlight for me was the first day we're there, like middle of the afternoon, they're like, we got to stay in our trailer because there's a thunderstorm and our trailer's grounded. Like everyone else has to go to the shelter, but we're allowed to stay there. So I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting in the trailer and the door opens and it's Chuck Garfien, which is a name that means nothing to probably most of you people. He's the pregame, postgame host of the White Sox. I'm like, oh my gosh, Chuck Garfien just walked in our trailer. And I mean, he does a White Sox podcast that I love. I don't know. I was so starstruck. And I was trying to play it cool all weekend because I'm like, I want to come back next year. So like, I was totally trying to play it cool, but I was totally starstruck at Chuck Garfien. Now, Ozzie Guillen walked in 30 seconds after him, and it didn't have the effect of Chuck Garfien. I don't know why, but that was such a cool experience. Like just being in a trailer with him. I mean, he's been out with the Sox since 2005. So, you know, I feel like
what I'm hearing from your excitement, still reliving this dreamlike scenario, because it is a dreamlike scenario. As a baseball fan working these events, is my friend, you, the next beer is going to be on you.
Oh, absolutely.
The next beer is going to be on you. But hey, Gunner, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I want to see a photo of you on Facebook tomorrow from the cell. I still call it. Some of us call it the G spot, which I think is appropriate as well. But Gunner, you got it. I want to inspire you to get out to that fucking game tomorrow.
I would love to. Well, we'll see. It's not a no yet. It's not a no yet.
I mean, I got on a plane to come to St. Pete.
It's true. That is true.
To see games 1 and 2 of the ALDS, and you know, I'm leaving here bittersweet. But
you'll have many more opportunities. Let's be honest.
You know, I'm hoping, but I want to bring on my guests one last time. A couple people have left because one doesn't care about baseball anymore, and one is watching the game 2 of the NLDS. But guys, it's going to be a fun ride for all of us from here on out, man.
Oh boy!
You know, Dan, I want to see you. I want to see photos of you at Fenway tomorrow night, man.
Oh, that's not going to happen. that is. I can imagine those tickets are going to be not cheap. So
yeah, I would think that just generally tickets at Fenway are probably not cheap.
Yeah. Much like the cost of living here, the tickets just going to a game are going to be astronomical. So
Yeah, I can
I'm not really
imagine.
concerned.
I
Yeah.
can imagine. I don't know. You guys have been at ball games. There's something about it, and I think this says a little bit about my Star Wars fandom. I think that I have this obsessive personality. That is why I never dabbled with some really, really bad things, because I feel like I have an addictive personality.
Me too, 100%, man.
Yeah.
I can't. The fact that I was saying goodbye to the staff yesterday at the Trop, and I'm like, I played my card a lot. Nobody gives a shit, but I'm like, some of the people that work at the Trop, they live and die by that team. And I'm like, hey, man, I flew in for the game from Chicago, and this is my 42nd game. My daughter's 7. She's seen 11 games here. And he asked me the question what a lot of people ask me, and I do not have time on this episode to get into it. But the question is, why am I such a big Rays fan? And you know what? You guys, in the words of Chirrut Imwe, that, my friend, you must pay. And Dan and John, you guys, on the next podcast episode, it's going to drop Monday. I'm going to get into that a little bit. Get into it a lot. Not that, Dan, you really care why I'm a big Rays fan.
Hey, well, it goes hand in hand with my podcast. We ask questions, we're curious, and that's one of those stories that's really cool to hear. So, absolutely, I want to hear about it.
I mean, everybody knows why I'm a Star Wars fan, and everybody knows that Star Wars, like for me, what it did to you guys. I mean, there's a commonality, I think, there. But for an out of town baseball fan, I don't know. I think that's a little bit different than a passionate Star Wars fan. It really, really is. So, hey, I'm going to be pulling for the Brewers. I'm going to be pulling for the White Sox. Dan, I'm not going to be pulling for your team.
I wouldn't expect any less.
No, I will say for some reason, for some godforsaken reason, it comes down to the Red Sox and the Astros. See, I can't spit it out. I can't say it.
Come on, say it. Just say it. It's okay. It's all right. You're in a safe space. Everybody here's your friend. They totally understand. Everybody hold hands. Okay, now say it. I'm ready.
I want to see the Astros lose
to
whoever.
All right.
In the words of John Zancanaro, it's not rooting for that team.
Yeah, go not Astros.
It's rooting against them. So,
absolutely.
Well, hey guys, thank you again for joining me on the show. Gunnar, I hope I don't have you and Tyler on the next episode where I say goodbye to you guys. I really, really don't. John and Dan, I'm going to see you guys at least till the bitter end. But I want to say thank you to you guys for watching the show. And this is my last show from the road. I forgot to say that in the show intro. Mocktails from the Cantina, live from the road. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for watching us and sharing the baseball passion with us. And before we leave, I want to say a couple more words. Let's go Rays. Let's go Rays. Hey guys, we will catch you next time on Mocktails from the Cantina live, the impromptu postseason edition of this show. So long, everybody. Be good.